Entertainment and Sports Network.
Did you know that Kansas City has more fountains than any city in the world except for Rome? Now, as for barbecue, I think Kansas City has everybody beat. All right, we've set the scene. Now it's time for baseball, as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Kansas City Royals in the first game of 4 from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with David Cohn, a native son of Kansas City. I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for watching baseball with us here on Yes. Well, the Yankees have had some struggles offensively, but one guy who's really picked it up, and he's one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now, Jacoby Ellsbury.
Well, yeah, it's really happened quietly, too, Michael. I mean, he got off to such a hot start to start this season off, and then kind of slumped a little bit, but recently really driving the ball much better. Looks like a much tougher out at the plate, much harder contact, and he's got some extra base hits to go with it as well. So Ellsbury batting in the 3-hole has done very well for the Yankees because of the injuries they've had. You normally, obviously, a leadoff hitter. Probably going to be switched back to the leadoff hitter more often now that Beltrain's back, but those numbers speak for themselves.
10-game hitting streak, David. 410, 16 for 39, 3 extra base hits, 8 ribbies, and he still keeps stealing bases. His average has jumped from 258 to 286. Well, the Yankees had a 4-game losing streak before yesterday, and then Masahiro Tanaka does what he does. He won. So they have a 1-game winning streak. They'd like to get on a little bit of a roll. So let's take a look at the pitching matchup in tonight's game, and it's brought to you by Chevrolet. We know the veteran Jeremy Guthrie. He will go for the Royals 2-5 with a 4 ERA. Chase Whitley still looking for his first major league decision. And David, he's pitched pretty well.
Really well. What a pleasant surprise for the Yankees. Mostly a reliever throughout his minor league career. Kind of a reversal of fortune. Most guys like Dellin Betances, you see go from starter to reliever. Not Whitley. All he really needs to do with this mix of pitches is just get a little deeper in the game. Really quality sliders there. Much better stuff than he was given credit for.
Boy, the Yankees would like length today because the bullpen pitched 3 innings yesterday. So you see Whitley's got to get into the 6th. And if he can get into the 7th, they'd be absolutely thrilled. Well, in Kansas City, they are familiar with Carlos Beltran. The Yankee fans are refamiliarizing themselves. He's off the DL. Yesterday was back in the lineup. We'll hear from him and Meredith. That's next, right here on Yes.
Welcome back inside Kauffman Stadium, where the Yankees are getting set for the first of a 4-game series with the Kansas City Royals. Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Morakovitz. Carlos Beltrain was back in the lineup yesterday after missing 21 games with a bone spur in his right elbow. He finished his afternoon 0 for 3. He said it's going to take a little bit of time to get going offensively, but overall just happy to be back in that lineup.
I'm very happy, honestly. I know that I didn't have a good game out there, but after trying to avoid surgery and rehabbing to get back into the lineup and to the team, for me it's a great accomplishment. So I just need to continue to find a way to stay healthy and finish the season, and at the end of the season take care of what we need to take care of. But right now it's no time for me to think about that. It's time for me to focus in what is important for me. I haven't thrown baseball, so they're giving me time for me to feel better offensively, and then once I feel better and everything starts going to go well, then they might need to put a throwing program for me to start throwing and hopefully get back into the field. DH is something that I have never have done for a long time, but right now it is what it is. I have to find a way to adjust to my role right now.
Well, it doesn't sound as though Carlos Beltrain is going to be in the field anytime soon. The Yankees just happy, though, to have him back as a part of that offense. He will DH and bat third this evening. Plenty more to come with David Cohn and Michael Kay. They'll have lineups, first pitch baseball coming up next right here on Yes.
Wake up on the bright side at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Book now at lq.com. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Buick. Visit tristatebuick.com for great lease offers. We are here at Kauffman Stadium, where the Yankees begin a 10-day, 3-city, 10-game road trip. So you have 4 here in Kansas City, and then you have 3 in Seattle and 3 in Oakland as the Yankees try to get right. We mentioned the 4-game losing streak that was snapped by another really solid performance by Masahiro Tanaka, who's now 9-1. And now the Yankees will try to make it 2 in a row with Chase Whitley on the mound. So the Royals take the field, and we'll take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, which is presented, as always, by our good friends at Lexus. Yankees come in at 30-29. And they lead off their center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury. Brett Gardner in left field will bat second. Batting third and DHing Carlos Beltrain. Mark Teixeira's at first base. He'll clean up. Batting fifth, the catcher, Brian McCann. Yangervis Solarte at third base will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing right field, Ichiro Suzuki. Brian Roberts at second base will bat 8th, and batting 9th and playing shortstop, Brendan Ryan, Derek Jeter, just the night off.
You can see the right-hander from the Royals, who's very familiar with the Yankees, having pitched in the American League East for so long. Jeremy Guthrie, his 13th start on the year. 2-5, not a lot of run support there. The rest of the numbers are fairly decent, as he's pitched better than his record would indicate.
Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers.
And yes, he does have good control, just 2.17 walks per 9 innings. That's good for 14th best in the American League, and he puts it in play. I mean, he's a high contact guy, Michael. He doesn't really strike out a lot of guys, just 39 strikeouts and 78 2/3 innings, as we saw in his numbers. So his defense is really going to get a lot of work tonight, and looking for support. He's only had 1 run to work with in his last 4 starts, and you're not going to win a lot of games with that kind of support.
Well, both of these teams have had offensive struggles, so it's going to be interesting to see if somebody or anybody gets off the schneid. Let's take a look at the Royals defense presented by Geico. Gordon, Kane, and Aoki. Gordon is a Gold Glove winner. Moustakas, Escobar, Infante, and Hosmer third to first. Salvador Perez is behind the plate, and Jeremy Guthrie is on the mound. So they will start it off with Jacoby Ellsbury. So Ellsbury moves back to the top of the lineup. Gardner is second. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the lineup when Jeter returns tomorrow, how they configure it. Will Gardner go down to the bottom of the lineup? Will they move Jeter down? We'll find out tomorrow. But tonight, Ellsbury leads off. He is ready. Guthrie is ready. And let's do it here in Kansas City. First pitch swung on and foul back. We're underway. Ten-game hitting streak for Jacoby. He also really has hit Guthrie well, a .435 lifetime average against the Royals right-hander. There's a strike.
Pretty straight up defensively for the Royals, as they are not one of the new teams that employs a lot of shifting, as we've seen the Yankees do this year.
Yankees baseball available in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your remote. SAP is brought to you by Infinity. Foul back. David, just from the early going, I think we could get some foul balls back here. I hope you're ready for this 4-game set.
It is. It's a lower screen behind home plate here, and we are directly just 1 click to the right of home plate, looking right at you.
The 0-2. High pop-up. Left side. Escobar makes the play, 1 down. Well, let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Pretty nice night, not too humid, 77 degrees, 62% humidity, wind 10 miles per hour, and there are thunderstorms late in the forecast. Here's Brett Gardner, 279, 4 home runs and 23 runs batted in. Gardner's home run in yesterday's game, that was the difference in the game. Yankees won 2-1. That broke a 1-1 tie. Came in the 3rd inning. Pitch outside.
Yeah, second deck home run too, and that's what Kevin Long, the hitting coach, has talked about with Gardner. Looking to turn more on inside pitches and be much more aggressive this year. He's got that kind of power. Much stronger than you think, Brett Gardner. You watch him in batting practice, and he regularly drives the ball. Much better than the Yankee fans have seen over the first part of his career. Kind of got a reputation as more of a slap hitter, trying to work the count and hit the ball the other way. But Gardner's got some pop.
Like that, deep to right, fair ball, it's gone. It is a foul ball. Oh, did he crush that? Looks like it landed in fair territory. Maybe it hooked around the foul pole.
That's definitely just a little foul, as Gardner watched it the whole way. No argument from the Yankee bench.
The 2-1. Beltrain's throwing pretty hard, 93 miles an hour. The 3-1 pitch. High pop-up, shallow right. Aoki makes the play with a second out. Here's former Royal Carlos Beltran. Came back yesterday, missed 21 games with the bone spur in his right elbow. He was 0 for 3. Looks like he's going to DH for the foreseeable future. Hasn't even attempted to throw yet. Yankees need his bat in there more than they need his glove and arm. The 0-1. Rounded to first. Hosmer beats Beltran to the bag, and Guthrie works a 1-2-3 inning. Yankees nothing. The Royals coming to bat. Take a look at the Royals starting lineup that he is going to face, put together by manager Ned Yost. Royals are 29-31. They lead off their right fielder Nori Aoki. Omar Infante, the second baseman, will bat second. Batting third, playing first base, Eric Hosmer. Billy Butler, the DH, will clean up. The number 5 hitter, the left fielder, Alex Gordon. Salvador Perez, the catcher, will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing center field, Lorenzo Cain. Mike Moustakas at third base, he'll bat eighth. Batting ninth and playing shortstop, Alcides Escobar.
Here's young Chase Whitley ready to go. Finishing his warm-ups from the stretch, and we just had the June draft, or it's still ongoing. And just remember, this guy was a 15th round draft choice for the Yankees, now in their rotation, trying to make a name for himself back in 2010. And you see the numbers, he's yet to allow a home run as well.
Let's take a look at the pitcher scatter report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Oh, reverse role. That's in reference to very rare do you see a perennial reliever turn into a starter. You think about Dellin Betances. You think about a lot of starters that are failed starters that end up in the bullpen. Not this kid. He's actually better as a starter than he showed as a reliever in the minor leagues. One of the reasons is, as I said before, so far he keeps it in the yard. Good ground ball rate. No home runs given up. Take the next step. Get a little deeper in the games. Get to the 5th, 6th inning. Really establish yourself.
Here's Aoki as he takes a strike. Got to watch for him. He bunts. He has 6 bunt hits, 13 infield hits. Yankees are playing for the bunt. That one's chopped to first. Fair ball as Teixeira touches the bag for the first out. Check out the Yankee defense, which is presented by Geico. Gardner, Ellsbury, and Ichiro left to right in the outfield. Solarte, Ryan, Robertson, Teixeira third to first. McCann behind the plate. Whitley's on the mound. And here's Omar Infante. Lofts the first one to right field. Coming in is Ichiro for the second out. Here's Eric Hosmer. For some strange reason, he has not been able to hit at home. He's a .209 hitter at home, .313 on the road, .264 overall.
Yeah, like many of the Royals, too, a bit of a power outage as the Royals had a hard time driving the ball, hitting home runs.
Ryan shades up the middle for Hosmer. Pitches high. Well, they don't hit much. 13th in runs, 10th in average, last in home runs, and 14th in on-base percentage. Grounded to second. Roberts. That's a nice, easy inning for Chase Whitley. 6 pitches. We go to the second inning. 0-0 on yes. Brought to you by Toyota. Prius is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. We started the conversation with this. How important is it for team success to have prospects develop and excel at the same time? Alio Malio, too. When prospects develop, they'll be more comfortable with playing and show that they'll be assets in the future. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius. Keep the conversation going. I think it's especially important, David, for a team like the Royals, because if you stagger their development, they're going to be leaving when the other ones start to get good. So you need them all at the right time to hit.
It's a great point, and it also sends a good message through your whole development system. Young prospects coming up know they're going to get a chance.
Teixeira takes a strike as we start the second inning. Mark 3 for 16 on the just completed homestand. Count 1-1. Line drive, that's going to be a base hit. Aoki fields. He'll get the ball in, and Teixeira leads off with a single here in the second.
Well, it's really been a case of less is more with Teixeira this year. You know, perennially just kind of a hard worker, extra BP all the time. That's how he hurt his wrist in the first place, was swinging a really heavy weighted bat. And this year, cut back on BP, really saving himself, and he's shown that that's a better formula for him.
Brian McCann takes a strike. McCann 6 for 22 on the homestand, hitting .230. Royal shift for him. He goes the other way, lofts a fly ball. That'll make the Seeds out of play.
You know, just to finish that point with regard to Teixeira, Michael, later in my career, I think you really have to learn as a veteran player to back off the extra work and just trust your stuff during the game. And Teixeira's always had a good eye. He's always been a good hitter. And with less work and saving himself, he's actually gotten back to his old form.
And that makes sense. As the body gets older, you probably can't work as much. So you've got to hope that the lessons that you taught yourself as a kid hold through. I remember when Don Mattingly was with the Yankees, gave that as one of the reasons that he hurt his back. I mean, all he did was swing. He just kept swinging and swinging and swinging. Finally hurt his back. 1-2. Grounded softly. And they'll get one out. As Moustakas fielded, so you have to score that a 5-3. Teixeira advances to second. So here's Yangervis Solarte, and once again, continuing to be a consistent hitter, not having the fall off that some expected. 9 for 25 on the homestand. He's at 293. And David, there's been enough scouting that people know what he can hit, not hit, and he's still hovering around the 290s.
Yeah, well, he has, and he's earned his playing time every step of the way, and has really shown probably more power batting left-handed. We're still talking about small sample sizes with regard to a switch hitter, and less right-handed at bats than lefty, but so far batting left-handed, those 6 home runs really tell you a story compared to batting right-handed. Really a good high ball hitter too for a left-handed batter. I think a lot of that's that high back elbow he has. Stylistically, as a pitcher, you try to study hitters and what they're trying to do at the plate. And when I see Solarte in that stance and that real high back left elbow, that tells me that's why he's a good high ball hitter. You think back, the last lefty I saw with a high elbow like that was Joe Morgan. He had that arm flap, if you remember Joe Morgan, with that back elbow.
Hammered foul.
Solarte really aggressive early in the count, but yet still selective and swinging at good balls. That's the key for him, is still getting his share of walks, still getting good pitches to hit.
And he works a walk. First and second, one man out for Ichiro Suzuki. And Joe Girardi made it very clear yesterday. Suzuki and Soriano are in a platoon. And although Soriano would like to play more to get his timing back, he's going to play against left-handers because Ichiro's earned his time. Didn't have the best homestand, and he's 3 for his last 23, but he got off to such a good start. He's still at 309. Soriano felt good after picking up 2 hits yesterday. You see Ichiro in against a right-hander, and if you're the right-hand side of a platoon, you don't see much time because there aren't that many left-handed starters. 1-0.
Obviously very frustrating for both guys that have been all-stars and used to being everyday players, but at this point, I think you have to understand your role.
He happens to hit lefties better so far this year.
That was the case last year as well.
Yep. They check with the third base umpire. Mike Estabrook said no, he didn't go. I'll give you the entire crew. Bob Davidson's behind the plate. Jerry Lane at first. Mike DeMuro. And Estabrook is the one who said he did not go on that check. There's a strike.
Thinking today's game too, Michael, that so much more emphasis on base running and defense and the value overall that Ichiro can give you. It certainly makes sense at this point to do what Girardi's doing and have sort of a platoon in right field. Obviously, Beltrain's going to have a lockdown on the DH as long as he can stay healthy for a while.
So the count 3-2 on Ichiro. Teixeira's at second. Solarte is at first. Three-2 pitch. Lined into center field. Lorenzo Cain is there. He'll make the play. Got a good jump. Ball stayed up. 2 away.
I guess you put this one in the luck factor category. Pitcher doesn't really execute a pitch, throws it down the middle. The hitter hits a line drive. Right at him, though. Seems like a lot of Yankee hitters have had that sort of luck so far in the first third or so of the season. Batting average on balls in play, even when they're hit hard, not very high for the Yankees this year.
Here's Brian Roberts. Well, the bat boy here for the visiting team at Kauffman Stadium just did a no-no after Ichiro hit that ball. The bat boy took the bat and put it in the bat rack. And Ichiro says, no, you get that bat because that does not go in the bat rack. And then he put it in its rightful place. Chopped up the middle and a base hit for Brian Roberts. Teixeira rounds third. He's coming home. He will score, throw, goes to third. Solarte's in there. It's an RBI single for Brian Roberts. And the Yankees are on the board. They lead 1-0.
A little bit of lack of awareness by Cain in center field here as you see Roberts goes out and covers that up and away pitch right back up the box. And with Teixeira running here, Cain clearly has a play at home plate, but kind of checks up and tries to throw the ball to third.
Mark has not been running well all year, and that is a lack of awareness on Cain's part. Here's Brendan Ryan. Broken back, ground ball to second. Infante gets Ryan for the final out. But the Yankees get a run. 1 run, a walk, 2 hits, and 2 men left on base. Go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Bombers. Back with an all-new episode as we get the inside story of Ron Guidry's dominant performance in 1978 when he struck out 18 batters in 1 game. Don't miss a new Moments of Glory Wednesday night, June 18th, only on Yes Other upcoming episodes this summer, Aaron Boone's game-winning home run in the 2003 ALCS, Chris Chambliss' game-winning home run in the 1976 ALCS against the Kansas City Royals. Probably a low point in your childhood, David.
Well, without a doubt. Memorable moment. And then getting a chance to meet Chris Chambliss later, I understood, what a quality person he was and what a big moment in his life that particular swing was. I still remember Howard Cosell's call.
It's gone. Here's Billy Butler. And a strike.
I think Reggie Jackson was in the booth too, I believe. It was Keith Jackson, Reggie Jackson, and Howard Cosell. Those three guys ate up all the air in the booth, Michael.
Foul bat. Here is that home run against Mark Littell.
95 miles an hour going in and just enough over the wall. And the fans, I've got iconic pictures of that. There were fans with their legs hanging over the right field wall, waiting to storm the field. Imagine seeing that now at Yankee Stadium.
Oh my.
I mean, they were literally sitting on the outfield wall with their legs dangling over.
And that was the first year of the refurbished Yankee Stadium. And Chambliss never touched home plate the first time around. He was nervous for his safety, but they brought him out later and home plate had been stolen, and they just had him step on the hole in the ground as Butler goes down on strikes. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, and there's a history between these two teams. We're talking about 76 and 77. Yankees have a 3-run rally in the ninth inning of Game 5 to win. In 78, Yankees win the ALCS 3-1. Back-to-back 1-run wins in Games 3 and 4. And then 1980, the Royals finally won one. They sweep the ALCS, and George Brett had 2 homers. Frank White, a .545 average.
Even though the Royals went on to lose the World Series in 1980 to the Phillies, it still felt like a big win for the city. Finally beating the great Yankees in 1980.
One and one on Alex Gordon.
We talk about two teams going at it. Hardball. Hal McRae taking out Willie Randolph at second base with roll blocks. And George Brett and Greg Nettles getting into fights at third base on hard slides. And two teams just genuinely did not like each other.
Nettles and Brett really didn't like each other.
To this day.
To this day. I've seen them at functions, and it's very, very uncomfortable.
To this day, George Brett just has a very distinctive dislike for the New York Yankees.
Gordon wraps one to right field. On the run is Ichiro, can't make the play. It'll go to the wall. Gordon will stop at second with a 1-out double. So that double extends his hitting streak to a modest 5 games. And the tying runs in scoring position for KC.
You see off the bat just a little bit towards the end as it looked like a home run or a chance for a home run, but the ball just kind of fluttered and died out there. But got it down the line far enough away from Ichiro, and an easy stand-up double for Gordon. You can see the swing. That's a home run swing. The only problem is just a little bit off the end of the bat.
Here's Salvador Perez. Now, of course, the lights are on here at Kauffman Stadium, and it looks very dark right now. Some ominous clouds over the third base grandstand. The 1-0. And that got McCann. Bob Davidson will give him some time.
See, McCann, one of the catchers that kind of leaves his right hand exposed. We've seen him get nicked with foul balls. just his comfort level, the way he does it, especially with men on base. See a lot of catchers that will bury their right hand behind him to try to protect it, but McCann likes to keep it close and out in front so they can get a quick release if the runner steals.
Line drive left field. It's a base hit. Gordon rounds third. He will score. It's an RBI single for Salvador Perez. The game tied at
1. Looks like another off-speed pitch, a changeup that kind of drifts down and in, and Perez again a little out in front, but gets enough of it because it's elevated to reach the outfield grass.
Here it is on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Pitch inside from Whitley. Now, Cain's one of the Royals that loves hitting here at Kauffman Stadium. 21 for 57. Ground ball to third. Solarte, 1. On to first, double play. So Whitley gets the ground ball to get out of trouble. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and because of the DP, nobody left on base. We're going to the third, tied at 1. TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Yankees.com for details. Little Jeter fan, a little disappointed, I'm sure, that he's not in the lineup today. Could see him later on. Gives a little wave to a fan. Jacoby Ellsbury will lead off the third. Ground ball up the middle. It's an 11-game hitting streak for Ellsbury. He starts the third with a single.
Yeah, Ellsbury's always been a very aggressive hitter, especially in the leadoff hole. First pitch fastballs. Hardly ever see him take or sacrifice a down the middle first pitch strike.
Well, Perez is a good catcher, and Ellsbury's outstanding with the stolen base. 18 so far this year. And he's been caught twice. Audi A3 scoreboard shows us it's 1-1. Now, Perez led the league last season, throwing out 23 would-be base stealers. So far this year, he's thrown out 8, which is right in the middle of the pack.
Guthrie, one of the tougher right-handed pitchers to steal on. Got a pretty quick move.
Line drive, left field, base hit. Well, the table setters, well, they've set the table. Let's see what 3, 4, and 5 could do. First and second, nobody on. Nobody out, should I say. That's going to bring up Beltrain, who grounded out to first in the first. He's the DH tonight. And the Yankee DHs are 0 for their last 22. So they've got to pick that up. Coming into the game, Yankee DHs a league low 195 batting average. Yankee bench is saying, how about a balk there? But you can hear Bob Davidson say he didn't stop.
That might be a first. Bob Davidson is denying a balk to the Yankee bench.
It's against his DNA. Balking Bob. I thought he was going to give us one then, David.
Close. Carlos Beltran called for time.
Beltrain, one of the legions of players that came through here, and after the 6 years are up, they left as free agents. See the stolen base leaders in the American League. 2 of the 5 are on base right now for the Yankees. You had the Johnny Damons, the Jermaine Dyes, and Carlos Beltrans. And I'm sure it became disheartening for the fans.
Well, all at the same time, if you think about it. A very talented outfield the Royals had. And
Ellsbury thought about going, but the ball just did not go far enough away. The 2-1. 3-1. There's Carlos in the Royals uniform. The home run against the Yanks.
Well, when he broke in, one of the best speed power combo outfielders that the Royals have had.
(3-2). Grounded to second. They have one play, and they just make it at first as Hosmer danced to touch the bag. So Beltrain wasn't trying to, but he moves the runners up. Now second and third, one man out.
Well, indeed, it's Beltrain out in front of an off-speed pitch, and Hosmer with a little dance by the bag. Guthrie wasn't sure who was going to take it.
Here's a big spot for Mark Teixeira. Single to right and scored the Yankees run in the second. It's a 1-1 game. We're in the third. Pitch outside. Count 1-1. Ellsbury off third. Gardner's off second. And that hit Mark Teixeira. And he's going to take first to load the bases. That was upstairs. That's not where a hitter feels too comfortable getting out of the way of a ball. Usually they say they see it well, like right at the head, but that was below that.
Well, a good job by Teixeira to wheel out of the way to avoid any further damage here. And that's how you take a pitch. Turn back away from the pitch. See so many hitters now that dive into it and leave themselves in a position to not be able to get out of the way. Teixeira easily curls back out of the way on a pitch that was defined as chin music.
Pitch outside to Brian McCann.
Big spot for McCann here early in the game.
One and one.
A lot of talk about Brian McCann, you know, the big contract given to him, and everybody wondering, you know, about the offensive production. See his career with the bases loaded, 10 grand slams. When you talk to McCann and both Kevin Long, they both are happy with his approach. Feel like he's swinging the bat well. He's kind of hitting bad luck here and there.
Count 1-2.
Still looking for that hot streak. Still looking for the power numbers to surge. And not just home runs either. Doubles. Driving the ball in the gaps.
Guthrie deals the 1-2. Change speed on that one as McCann fouls it back.
Guthrie, you know, not exactly an eephus pitch, but that was 58 miles an hour. And we've seen Yu Darvish with the Texas Rangers feature sort of a semi-eephus pitch. Super slow, high arcing curveball. Kind of a new wrinkle for Guthrie this year. It's hard to throw a ball 58 miles an hour. Well, I could probably do it right now, but
the 1-2. Line down the left field line. That is a base hit. It'll go to the wall. Ellsbury scores. Gardner scores. Here comes Teixeira. He's coming home. The throw, not in time. McCann gets the third, and the Yankees lead 4-1. A bases clearing double for Brian McCann, and he moved the third on the throw.
We can see the determination in McCann's face, and right off of that slow 58 mile an hour eephus pitch, an up and away fastball, McCann stays back on it. Right inside the line, and that's got triple written all over it. The only question is whether Teixeira once again has to get his game on and run.
Fly ball to Gordon. McCann draws the throw. It's cut by Moustakas.
We'll get a look at Kevin Long and his reaction to Brian McCann staying back on that pitch and driving it the other way down the line. That one's got to feel good. All the batting practice, all the talk is staying back. stay back on the pitch.
And they score that a double, 3 ribbies, and he advanced to third on the throw. Ichiro takes a breaking ball low.
Teixeira's certainly got his running in for the night already.
Ichiro hit the ball hard in the second inning, but right at Lorenzo Cain in center. Guthrie works from the full windup. Swing and a miss. Got the fastball by him. But the damage has been done. McCann, great numbers career with the bases loaded. Improved them with a bases clearing double. Get the most for your money with Blimpie $5 deals. Choose from 4 of your Blimpie favorites. Blimpie, America's sub shop. And by Honda, start something special with a great deal on a Honda. Yankees lead 4-1 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. So Chase Whitley looking for his first major league win, and Brian McCann has given him a 3-run lead. In fact, Whitley became the first Yankee pitcher to make a start in each of his first 4 major league games and not get a decision in any of them, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. So he wants to end that right here. Here's Mike Moustakas. Moustakas, a big part of what the Royals are about, was sent down to AAA on May 22nd. That's how much he has struggled. Down there for 8 games at .355. They called him back up. The Audi A3 scoreboard 4-1. Yanks lead, and Moustakas hits a ground ball to Roberts. 1 away. Thing you hear about him, David, the swing is very, very long.
And a lot of those kind of swings right there. You know, George Brett used to call that hitting the ball in the canoe. When you reach out and you're out in front and you pull balls and the ground ball, almost like a canoe, right to the second baseman. And that's when you know your timing's off a little bit. This is the George Brett ground ball in the canoe, right to the second baseman, and you know it right out of the box.
Here's Alcides Escobar. Count 1-0. Well, there's a new hitting coach for the Royals. He's trying to straighten them out. Dale Swain. Manager of the Royals is Ned Yost. You know the old saying, you can't change 25 players, so the Royals have come out of the box struggling, 29-31. They are built to win. And they're a little past their timetable. So since you can't get rid of 25 players, you start shuffling coaches. And that's exactly what the Royals have done. Swain was the third base coach. Now he's the hitting coach. Pedro Grifol was the hitting coach. Now the catching instructor, Mike Jershell, was an assistant. Now he's a third base coach, and they hope the juggling works.
That's kind of been the theme of the organization for the last 3 or 4 years.
Ground ball to Ryan. 2 down.
I guess one of these years is you're going to see all the different hitting coaches. That's a lot of changes in a relatively short amount of time, and George Brett right in the middle of that. They would like him to be the guy, but George likes playing golf too much. I don't think he wants a full-time job.
Yeah, they had asked him after they demoted Grifol, and he said no. He's in the front office. He's iconic. What does he need it for, I guess? Here's Aoki, Nori Aoki. And he laces a single to left field.
It's always the hitting coach, Michael, even more so than pitching coaches. Because there's definitely can be more, challenges on styles, approaches with the hitters than the pitchers. Pitchers, it's always throw strikes, get ahead. With hitters, it's more of an approach. Do we want more patience? Do we want to be really aggressive? Seems to be the theme nowadays, in terms of high on-base percentage being valued so much, working the count, getting deep into the counts. What sort of approach does a hitting coach teach? And the Royals have always been very aggressive. Maybe one of the least analytical front offices in baseball in terms of sabermetrics.
Kind of wonder how that can go on in this day and age,
well,
kind of ignoring an advantage.
They certainly have, every major league team has certain guys on staff that are analytical guys that can run the numbers and be proactive in some of the new metrics, but the Royals don't put as much weight into that part of their game. I really think the way the Tampa Bay Rays have been run with Joe Madden down there and their particular front office has changed a lot of eyes. Very limited resource, maybe the most challenging venue to play in major leagues, along with Oakland. And they have gotten the most bang for the buck down there. This year, notwithstanding.
Runner goes, pitches low, throw to second. Not in time, but a nice play by Roberts. Keep that in the infield, making the catch on the short hop.
Excellent jump, 3 or 4 steps. McCann really felt the need to rush when he had no chance. And a very tough play down in the dirt. Even to get that off was pretty impressive from McCann.
Now Joe Girardi is going to jog out slowly as the Yankees will check the replay, and he's going to talk with Mike DeMuro, the second base umpire, and then angle his body toward the dugout to see if the call was right. Wow, looks like he challenged immediately.
We'll get another look here. I think, at first glance, I thought no chance, but a short hop and maybe just right on the shoulder, just a grazing. You see Brian Roberts right away, the look on his face. Didn't look like he tagged him at first, but maybe just the shirt sleeve right there, a graze on the way by. But excellent pick by Roberts at second. And boy, your guess is as good as mine on whether his glove got the uniform or not. If it did, then he's clearly out.
So Joe Girardi uses his challenge here in the third. They're showing a replay now on the board That would lead you to believe he did get Aoki's shirt. Absolutely. You could see his sleeve raise up just a little bit. And the Yankees are actually running off the field after watching it on the scoreboard. And Bob Davidson said, no, you stay where you are until it becomes official.
Certainly see a little bit of movement on the shirt sleeve.
Yankees are doing the creep toward the dugout thinking the inning is over.
Yeah, Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire, kind of shooed them back on the field. But
you can see that sleeve go up.
Boy, at first glance when this play happened live, I thought, no way. I agree with you, Michael, when you talk about this. And he is called out. There's got to be a better procedure to do this than umpires running over and managers on the field.
Well, the Yankees are happy the way it turned out. Caught stealing, 2-4, end of the inning. .66 NY quits for free help today. Carlos Beltran won the '99 AL Rookie of the Year award with the Royals. What future Yankee was the runner-up? Brian Roberts swings and fouls the ball off. He had an RBI single in the second inning. The Lincoln scoreboard shows the Yankees up 4-1. A bases-loaded, bases-clearing double by Brian McCann in the third broke the 1-1 tie. Fly ball left field. Gordon is there. Puts it away. We should mention today is the anniversary of D-Day, where young men put their lives on the line storming the beaches in Europe. Many of them did not return home, knowing what they faced, to give us the opportunity to enjoy baseball games and look at replay reviews and actually talk about it in a serious tone. But what those guys went through at 18, 19, 20 years old, and our good friend Yogi Berra was part of the D-Day invasion. Just an amazing, amazing accomplishment by those young men, many who did not return home.
Changed the world, without a doubt.
The greatest generation indeed. Count 0-1 on Brendan Ryan. 1-1. Chopped slowly over the mound, charging Infante, bare hand fires, and it gets past Hosmer, and that'll allow Ryan to go to second. That was a case of Hosmer saying, I'm not reaching into the runner and hurting myself here.
I think Infante had a lot more time than he thought to try to make a bare hand play on a ball that's level with second base, and rushing probably was the wrong decision.
And that might not have been fair to Hosmer. That was really more toward home plate. He tried, but got by him. Single and an E4. That broke an 0 for 9 slump for Ryan.
Infante was one of the Royals' big offseason acquisitions, actually beating out the Yankees. Maybe the first free agent in history where the Royals beat out the Yankees.
Weren't the Yankees sniffing around when you signed with the Royals?
Yeah, they wanted Greg Maddux, and rightly so. And Maddux was the one who said, no, I'll go down and play in Atlanta.
Count 1-1.
They ended up getting Jimmy Key that year, which was a pretty good choice as well.
True pro. And he was part of the 96 championship team with you.
One of the most intelligent pitchers I've ever been around, Jimmy Key. And Greg Maddux, for that matter. Going in the Hall of Fame this summer.
Maddox, Glavine, Thomas, the 3 players and the 3 managers going in. Torrey, Bobby Cox, and Tony La Russa. 2-2.
And of course, the great writer, Roger Angel.
He wrote a book with you.
He did. Fantastic writer from the New York Magazine, New Yorker. Several great baseball books. Well-deserved Hall of Fame induction.
Runner goes, throw to third. Ryan's out. Testing Perez. Now you can make the second out at third, but it didn't seem like he got a very good jump.
Yeah, no real big lead, no real running or moving start as well. As almost an afterthought from Ryan there, but trying to get to third with 1 out.
Ground ball, foul. Now the rules are you don't make the first out at third, you don't make the third out at third. I guess you gamble with 1 out because you're gaining an advantage of scoring an out if you make it. But now you've taken a runner out of scoring position by getting thrown out.
Yeah, generally speaking, especially with a left-handed batter, that you got to be sure. And Perez has an excellent arm.
3-2. Line drive foul. Seems like Ellsbury's on everything. Hitting the ball really hard. And such a long stretch of struggle, but he certainly found it again. Started off hot, slumped, and now back. And Ryan's pondering whether he made the right decision or not. High fly ball, right center. Aoki is there, and he'll put it away for the final out. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 4-1 Yanks. To the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. The question, Beltrain won the 99 AL Rookie of the Year award with the Royals. What future Yankee was the runner-up? Could it be Johnny Damon? Was that the same year? Let's see. Marty Garcia. Wow. Okay. Garcia was 17-8, 4.07. See what Beltrain did. That's some rookie year.
You get the feeling that Freddie Garcia is still out there waiting for a phone call. A fifth starter somewhere. Probably give you a few quality starts.
Lincoln scoreboard 4-1 Yankees. No, we talked about Beltrain leaving and Damon and Dye. You got to give the Royals credit. They didn't let them leave as free agents. They traded them because they knew they would leave as free agents, but they didn't get enough back for great players like that. And they traded them close to free agency where no one was going to give up a big haul.
Yeah, just not a lot to show for all that talent. And I think the Tampa Bay Rays have kind of shown you the formula, and there's a lot of luck involved when you're choosing prospects in the minor leagues. But, you know, the most recent example is kind of the reversal. Now the Royals trade their young outfielder, Will Myers, to get Shields, big game James Shields here, along with what has become, you know, their eighth inning shutdown guy, Wade Davis, after a stint at trying to start here for the Royals. Another sort of failed starter, dominant reliever.
And the reason that they gave up as much for Shields as they did, because they had control of Shields for 2 years. But if you trade somebody at the end of July, where he's going to be a free agent at the end of that season, you're not really going to mortgage the farm system. 3-2. And that acquisition of Shields, David, is why I said earlier, clock is kind of ticking on this Royals team. They got Shields because they said, hey, we can make the playoffs now. We can end this streak. And Shields is going to be a free agent at the end of this year.
Yeah, they need a big payoff. And you got to give the Royals credit. You know, I mean, they've waited a long time here. This is a good baseball town, a good history, going back to the Negro Leagues.
Infante. Foul ball, first base side, as Teixeira puts it away. All right, with Eric Hosmer due up, we'll take a look at the Honda League leaders, and we'll take a look at the doubles leaders. Hosmer has 20, and that's one behind Trevor Plouffe of the Twins. And you see the rest of the group that lead in doubles in the American League. Now the Royals are trying to avoid having to trade this new batch of young players because they're trying to sign them to long-term deals, but it's not that easy. A lot of agents don't want to do that because you are giving up some money for security. And it sounds like the union doesn't like it either because John Singleton, the kid from the Houston Astros, he signed a deal that was well under market value, but obviously gave him money for his future. And Bud Norris of the Orioles kind of ripped him. He said that's not a good deal for the union. Shouldn't have done it. Should have waited. Salvador Perez did that too.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways to look at it. You know, security is a big thing. I still believe it's an individual choice. I don't agree with Bud Norris on that one in particular. I think it's up to each individual guy. It's hard to tell somebody to turn down millions of dollars because there's more out there.
Hosmer down looking. 2 away here in the fourth.
Maybe got a little bit of a break, but Whitley with outstanding control, McCann with outstanding hands, and a borderline pitch gets called the pitcher's way.
Line drive. Caught on the fly by Ryan as Billy Butler is retired to end a 1-2-3 inning. Good pitch count for Chase Whitley. Good score on the board for Chase Whitley. We go to the 5th. Happened to the Blue Jays in about 2 months, so they hit into a triple play, but they're still leading the game. So I'm sure at some point you'll have the update on that. Blue Jays are unbelievable, David. I never thought they'd be this good.
Yeah, well, you had to figure they'd get a bounce back year this year, especially once Jose Reyes came back off the DL, and they probably have as good a player kind of found off the scrap heap as the Yankees have with Yangervis Solarte and Juan Francisco, who's got 10 home runs already and kind of picked up, out of nowhere, similar to Solarte.
Well, it's going to be Gardner, Beltrain, and Teixeira here in the 5th inning. Yankees lead this one 4-1. The beginning of a 4-game set between the Yankees and the Royals. Kauffman Stadium, beautiful ballpark, 41st year of existence. 2009, a $250 million renovation to kind of modernize it, and it does not look 41 years old. It looks great.
Yeah, most stadiums that are 41 years old are looking to get torn down.
Little David Cohn used to come here, right?
Absolutely. Loved it. Saw some big games here.
And there was really one negative thing when this first opened, and that was the artificial turf. They had the greatest groundskeeper, known for the turf, but they did correct it with the renovation. Opened in 1973. They hosted the 80 and 85 World Series and an All-Star game as well. We're going to go back to the studio. Bob Lorenz has something else to tell us. Thank you, Bob. As Beltran takes a strike. How about Boston? A little streaky, you think? They lost 10 in a row. They won 7 in a row. Now they've lost 3 in a row, and they're trailing tonight.
One of the problems, even though it's early in the year, is when you fall that many games under 500 and you do get hot, your 7-game win streak doesn't even get you back to 500.
Then you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, David. They've lost 10 in a row. They're 23 and 38. And they lost Will Myers to an injury.
A lot of scouts at David Price's games nowadays. He will be the #1 commodity as the trade deadline approaches.
And because they have another year of control, it makes him worth more.
I saw an interview with Joe Madden today, I believe. And he was talking about how he's really preaching we can get back into this.
Grounded, foul.
One of the most positive managers in the big league. Joe Madden's done a terrific job, but the deeper that hole gets, boy, the harder it is to sell that sort of we can get back into it thing.
David, coming into today, they are tied for the biggest deficit in Major League Baseball, 14 games out, tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Beltrain 0 for 6 since coming up the DL, 0 for 3 tonight. Make sure you're at Yankee Stadium on Thursday, June 19th for one of the hottest collectibles of the season. It's Mark Teixeira bobblehead night, the first one in the 2014 collectible series presented by AT&T for the first 18,000 guests in attendance. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Teixeira, speaking of him, flies out to left as the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. We're halfway through, 4-1 Yanks. With the Blue Jays, so that'll be a nice test to see where both teams are. One series at Yankee Stadium, one up at Rogers Center. We're here at Kauffman Stadium, and the Yankees lead 4-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Isn't it ironic that after all the hoopla over the big trade with Miami, that both teams are in first place or have touched first place a year later after that trade? All the grief Jeffrey Loria got, Jose Reyes will never forgive him for that trade. Mark Burley, a career year up in Toronto. Who could have predicted that in that ballpark?
Alex Gordon takes outside from Whitley. We told you Whitley's pitch count's in great shape. 43 pitches as we go to the 5th inning. Royals just don't work the count. It's really interesting because the Yankees have always had a history of working the count, going deep into a count and making a pitcher throw a lot of pitches and getting them out of there early, and they have not been doing that this year. And the hitting coach, Kevin Long, had a very interesting comment. I think he made it to Joel Sherman of the Post. He said, you can only do what you could do with the personnel that you have. He said, we can be a little better, but to get back to what we used to be, we don't have that personnel anymore. So if guys like to jump on the pitch early, that's what they're going to do. That's the type of play they are. You can't make them take pitches. And then you saw a team yesterday, the Oakland A's, really worked the count against Tanaka. And he had good stuff, but they made him work. And he was over 100 pitches after 6 innings. Yankees had to go to the bullpen. That one is hammered to right field and foul.
You know, hence why all the emphasis is on the hitting coaches nowadays. I mean, we saw the Mets hitting coach sort of kicking and screaming out the door at the broadcast booth at the philosophy, and Yankee hitters or Mets hitters need to be more aggressive. No, they need to be more patient. Probably the most debatable point is hitting approach nowadays.
There's a base hit for Alex Gordon, as Ellsbury will get it in. Leadoff single for Gordon. Fans, you can now tweet at Yes Network your best fan photo using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during the game. Brought to you by AT&T.
You know, for me, Michael, as a pitcher, you know, when I was facing a lineup where they were either all one way or all the other, meaning that they were very aggressive and swung at a lot of first pitches, or that they took a lot of first pitches, if you were either or, you know, I could adjust to that. But if you had a variance in style, if hitters could vary their style, where one guy took the first strike but the next guy was aggressive, that was the most difficult thing for me. You know, a diverse style in your lineup. Not all hitters that took first pitches and not all hitters that swung at first pitches.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Perez.
Still comes down to getting good balls to hit for hitters, and for pitchers, figuring out when to throw strikes and when you don't have to throw strikes, and which hitters will swing and chase pitches out of the zone. That's the cat and mouse game between pitchers and hitters. If you're going to spot me a strike all the time, I'm going to throw it down the middle and take it. But if I'm worried that you may be aggressive on that first pitch, then you're going to chase me to the corners a little bit with that first pitch.
Runner goes, and the ball gets by McCann. Not much foul territory behind the plate, so it comes right back to him. So a stolen base for Gordon. He stays at second.
Well, that's the hardest one to read for a catcher. The fastball that looks like it's going to make it there all the way, and then it ends up short hopping as McCann gets caught trying to backhand it and pick it.
High fly ball, shallow center. Backing up is Roberts. He makes the play for the first out here in the fifth. Fourth stolen base for Gordon. So he's in scoring position with one out now for Lorenzo Cain. Cain 33 for 100 against right-handed pitchers so far this year, 316 overall. Hit into a double play in the second. Count 1-0.
You know, talking about hitters' approaches, Michael, McCann's going to go out and talk to Whitley here. You see a lot of hitting coaches talk about approach and getting deep in the count and working the count. Well, a lot of that has to do with fouling off top pitches too. It's not all about the first pitch all the time. It's not always about taking a strike. It's about getting good pitches to hit and fouling off the tough pitches too, making pitchers work. Nothing more frustrating on the mound when you have two strikes and you make a good pitch that's borderline and a hitter fouls it off and then fouls off another one and forces you as a pitcher to keep making that pitch over and over again.
The 1-0 to Cain. 2-0. Cain does a big job with runners in scoring position. He's hitting .362. 17 of his 21 RBIs. Ground ball up the middle, a base hit. Gordon rounds third. He'll score. Ellsbury throws to second. Nobody covering. Yankees were sleeping, and it's 4-2 Yanks. Absolutely fell asleep. Nobody at second base. Roberts ended up moving toward first, and Ryan took the throw on the outfield grass.
Well, no real shift here to blame. I mean, they're playing straight up, so it is Ryan. It is not Ryan's play. It's Roberts' play to be covering second base. And he was there initially. As you see, Kane is not thinking second until right here when he sees it. Nobody home. Could have walked to second base.
I'm sure Joe Girardi is thinking there have been too many of those plays lately. Breakdowns, mental miscues that aren't errors on the scoreboard, but you can't have that. They give Kane a double. When you got pitchers that are filling in for your regular starters, your margin of error is not that great. You got to give them every out that they deserve. You can't make mistakes like this. Now that takes a double play away by having him go to second.
Yeah, communication between the middle infielders.
Moustakas fouls it back.
Roberts and Ryan haven't played that often together.
The 2-1. Grounded and grabbed there by Roberts. He flips to Teixeira for the second out as Kane moves to third. Well, here's Alcides Escobar with 2 outs and a runner on third. Kane talking to Joshel. Roberts at the end of the play with Kane is running toward first base. Maybe he thought that he was just going to round, then there was nobody there.
Yeah, he clearly thought Ryan was going to take the bag, but just a lack of communication.
Escobar fouls it away.
A big spot for Whitley to leave this runner on third right here. Being able to finish off an inning. We've talked about him getting deeper in the games. This pitch count is in great shape. This will be the 63rd pitch here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs. You got to leave him out there.
And he does. Fly ball shallow right. Ichiro will make the play, and that will do it. But 1 run on 2 hits, 1 man left. We played 5. Yankees lead this one 4-2. mistake, and right away it's addressed in the dugout. You'll see that Brian Roberts and Brendan Ryan talking in the dugout. Mick Keller, who works with the infielders, he comes over right away, wants to take care of it and say, here's what you did wrong.
Yeah, the only thing you can think of is maybe Brian Roberts was trying to circle back around and cover first base because Teixeira was all the way in. But Kelleher all over it. And Brian Roberts sort of taking the blame there as it goes a little further. Explaining his side of it, and it looked like maybe Brian Roberts was trying to sneak in, maybe circle back around in case Kane went around first base too far and left second base wide open. Girardi's going to get involved. That's an embarrassing play, obviously, because it's so obvious, such an obvious giveaway.
Now, fortunately for them, it didn't cost them.
Yes,
it cost you a run. Whitley picked them up.
Exactly. Much more important if it costs you a run, but nonetheless, let's get this straight right here. What happened?
That was a big thing with Joe Torre from what I've heard. He wanted to settle it right away rather than have it fester. And he would have one of his coaches, or he would go and talk to you right away if he made a mistake.
And Don Zimmer.
Ground ball to Moustakas. Hey, tomorrow night it's a special edition of Bombers Baseball on Fox. Catch all the action as Derek Jeter and the Yankees take on Eric Hosmer and the Royals in Game 2 here at Kauffman Stadium. Coverage will start at 7 exclusively on Fox. David, I know you were on the pregame show the night that Don Zimmer passed, but I know that you were a big fan of Don Zimmer like most of us were.
Wow, what an incredible history Don Zimmer had. I mean, I think Susan Waldman said it. How many people do you know? And we just lost a guy who met Babe Ruth, played with Jackie Robinson, and managed the Yankees in the 90s for a short period of time when Joe Torre was out with prostate cancer.
James Shields, who was with Tampa Bay, and Zimmer was an advisor there. R.I.P. Zim. That's very, very nice. And how many people, David, do you know in life that every paycheck that they ever cashed, they were doing something they loved?
Just remarkable. Obviously, Shields a connection with the Rays, and Zim finishing up his career down there with the Rays.
66 years in baseball. And Solarte wraps one to center field. Kane is right there. They had him play beautifully. 2 outs.
The Don Zimmer eyes. His eyes would get real wide when something exciting was going on. Passion for the game he had. I remember when he was managing the Cubs back in the 80s. I was pitching for the Mets. And bases loaded. He put the hit and run on with Manny Trio batting. And Manny Trio kept fouling him off, and Zim kept putting the hit and run on. There's 1 out, bases loaded, and Don Zimmer strutting up and down the dugout, putting the hit and run on with the bases loaded. It was pretty distracting to see all those runners running around trying to make a pitch to Manny Trio, but I'll never forget that. And Zim defended it right to the end.
Ichiro lost one to left field. That'll do it as the Yankees go down 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 4-2 Yanks. This weekend, this wraparound series continues here in KC. Turn to yes tomorrow night after the final out on Fox for Yankees Extra Innings. And Sunday afternoon, don't miss our full game coverage starting at 1 with the Audi batting practice today. And Monday night, the series finale coverage begins at 7 right here on Yes. Aoki will lead off here in the 6th. Foul back. Now, David, this is interesting because we have not seen Whitley go that deep in games, and I think that there's been a legitimate reticence on the Yankees' part to see if his stuff could get people out for a third time. So this is a third time through the order, and his pitch count's in good enough shape that you really can't justify taking him out.
Exactly. And actually, there's been one or two other starts where Joe Girardi, it was his choice to take him out because he had Dellin Betances ready to go. But it is time for him to take the next step. Time to take the diapers off, so to speak, and get a little deeper in the game.
In looking at his stuff, David, do you believe there's a legitimate concern about a third time through the order?
Not really. No, I think he's earned the opportunity to do it. I don't think he's been overwhelmed at all. I think his stuff has been underrated. I think his slider's pretty good. Shown another good slider tonight. We heard about the changeup. We just saw one right there down. He does a good job of keeping that changeup down. But he's got a pretty pure slider as well, and that's a pitch that's gotten progressively better over his first few starts. No, even though he doesn't have overwhelming power stuff, it's pretty good across the board and a good mix.
Oh, what a play by Solarte for the first out. Took an extra base hit away from Aoki.
Quick reaction. Not a lot of time to get up. And playing in on the grass, too. Yeah, that deserves a little smile from the dugout. That's Solarte taken to third base very well after predominantly being a second baseman in the minor leagues. You know, Whitley's got a good mix of pitches, Michael. You know, so far in his starts, about 43% fastball, 32% slider, 25% changeup. See, that's a pretty good slider there. True slider. 85 miles an hour, tight break, a little bit of side-to-side movement, and a little bit of tilt to it. That's a pure slider. He's really much more unpredictable, I think, than he was given credit for. His first start against the Mets, it was, you know, fastball, changeup, yeah, good changeup, mix in a slider, but he really has a good mix of pitches.
1-1.
And that, in terms of his repertoire, that's a good way to go about it. It's not like he's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball he can throw 60, 65% of the time. He really needs that type of mix.
Popped up. Roberts will make the play for the second out.
I've been very impressed with Whitley's demeanor on the mound, too. From day one, he got up there, he started throwing strikes. He didn't seem overwhelmed at all. Not a lot of experience as a starting pitcher, as we said. Still pitching from the stretch.
Fly ball, left field. Boy, the Royals get it done in a hurry as they go down in order 1-2-3 against Whitley. We go to the 7th. It's 4-2 Yanks. brought to you by Pepsi. As we go to the 7th inning, Brian Roberts will lead off against Jeremy Guthrie. You know, we're talking about Whitley being stretched out, David. The Yankees are in a stretch 17 games in a row. This whole road trip, there's no off days. It seems like none of the starters give them length except for Tanaka. And even yesterday, because the A's worked the count, he only gave them 6 innings. If you're going to stretch out a pitcher, now's the time to stretch out Whitley. So they're doing it against a team that's having struggles offensively. Let's see you get to the 7th inning.
Yes, and the Royals are cooperating with a lot of early hacks.
Cadillac scoreboard 4-2, Yankees lead. Chopped slowly, first base side of the mound. Guthrie fields, and the out is made at first. Next week, the Yankees start a West Coast swing, and you can catch every game on Yes. The first stop is Seattle on Tuesday, as the Bombers begin a 3-game set with Cano and the Mariners. Then, Friday night, the Yankees are in Oakland for a weekend series with the best in the West. Stay up late for all the action, only on Yes. Francisli Bueno, one of the 2 left-handers in the bullpen, getting ready.
The Bueno first name.
Right back here, just under our booth.
You know, I tried for it, Michael, but right at the last minute I pulled off. I was going for it. It hit right there.
It almost hit where the little ball is.
It was right there, and I kind of went and pulled back. And
you could have really hurt your fingers. That's the way you have to look at it.
Flinched.
That one is laced to right field. It is caught by Aoki. There it is.
I'm going. I kind of pulled back at the last minute.
That almost hit the baseball exactly. Meredith wanted no part of it. I at least threw up a hand. So Guthrie at 104 pitches, 2 outs into the 7th. Yankees lead 4-2, first game of a 4-game set. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. His single in the 3rd started the Yankees' 3-run rally and also extended his hitting streak to 11 straight. David, both teams are jumping on pitches as if they want to experience the Kansas City nightlife.
It's back to old-time baseball, right? I mean,
wow.
Throw the ball over the plate, swing the bat. Let's get out of here in 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Sounds like a broken bat for Jacoby, and it is. It's a foul ball as well. Hey, we should send out congratulatory wishes. Ken Singleton's daughter, Angelica, graduating from high school. So the entire Singleton family is so happy and thrilled, and congratulations to Angelica. She's going to Penn State next year.
Very nice. Very, very proud papa.
His only daughter, 3 boys, and she's the princess of the family.
Most likely will be Guthrie's last hitter at 106 pitches here in the 7th. The big 3rd inning kind of killed him. He gave up a 3 spot in the 3rd. And the difference in this ball game.
Guthrie's taking a step off the mound. He thought that was strike 3, or wanted it to be.
It was. 95 miles an hour, his best fastball of the night. Right there. And Bob Davidson had a good look, too.
Tried it again. His high is 116 for the season. He averages 103, so he's over the average. And the payoff. Hit sharply to first. Hosmer beats Ellsbury to the bag. And a good job by Guthrie. He's retired the last 10 Yankees in a row. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Or nothing. Time for the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. It's 4-2 Yankees over the Royals. Brian McCann, the big hit, bases loaded, double, driving in 3. Whitley has gone 6, 5 hits, 2 runs, has not walked the batter, struck out 2. And Salvador Perez and Lorenzo Cain each with an RBI for Kansas City as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. All right, Billy Butler against Chase Whitley, who all game works out of the stretch because he's a converted relief pitcher. Cadillac scoreboard 4-2, Yankees lead. 1-0. Just 73 pitches for the Yankee righty. Still throwing hard, 91 miles an hour. That's usually where his fastball sits. Matt Thornton is up in the Yankee bullpen. Three and 0. Laid it in there for a strike as Butler taking all the way. Count 3-1.
You know, it's not just the pitch count. It's, you know, with Whitley and young starting pitchers, it's just getting up and down. The timing in between innings, getting yourself used to going back out there later in the games.
High fly ball left field. Gardner has plenty of room for the first out. Get another update from Bob Lorenz back in the studio. Thank you, Bob. We'll hear from Bob and Meredith Morakovitz on the post-game show. I have a feeling, David, if he had lost Butler, they'd probably bring in Thornton to face Gordon. But now he has a chance to face Gordon with 77 pitches in the till. And there's a strike. They shift to the lefty swinging Gordon. Count 1-1. Let's take a look at the injury report brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. And boy, Johan Santana can't find any luck when it comes to injuries. Today, a torn Achilles. Is going to miss the entire rest of this season, and he was close to being called up to the Orioles. He'd done great things coming back from the shoulder problems, and here he is out with a torn Achilles. Tough break for him and for Baltimore.
A similar thing happened to Mark Mulder, the lefty, trying to make a comeback this year in spring training now, as his Achilles got him.
Santana must feel like he's snake bit. 2-2. 3-2. And for the Orioles, that was a low-cost, possible high-end gamble, and now they get nothing out of it. 3-2. High fly ball, center field. This is a big ballpark, 410 to center field, so plenty of room for Ellsbury.
Clearly, Joe Girardi managing out to out at this point in the game with Whitley. The first time in his career he's been in the 7th inning.
Well, it's like they're on pins and needles.
Pitch to pitch and out to out.
His high pitch count this year, 91. That was in the start against St. Louis, but he lasted just 5 innings. Perez with an RBI single, 1 for 2.
You know, Michael, I like to check Twitter in between innings here and there. You know, we saw Cespedes in Oakland there get that big hit. There is a funny Twitter follow you got to follow. It's called Cespedes Family Barbecue.
Okay.
It's one of the funniest follows. Really good writers. Cespedes Family Barbecue on Twitter.
I'll hit it right now.
My recommendation.
1-1. 1-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. 7 strong innings for Chase Whitley. He's retired his last 8 in a row. Joe Girardi can take a deep breath. Now it's his offense's turn as they go to the 8th. Yankees up 4-2. Game changer, David.
And indeed, just in case you were wondering, what's your guess? Well, it's this guy on the mound. For the first time in his young major league career, he gets through 7 innings. He was outstanding. Got ground balls when he needed it. No walks. 3 strikeouts. Good-looking slider there to finish it off. And Chase Whitley continuing to impress and establish himself in this Yankee rotation. Who said the Yankees didn't have any help in the farm? 24-year-old 15th round draft pick. All smiles in the Yankee dugout.
Those are the numbers. 7 innings, 5 hits. He threw 87 pitches, so he got a big congratulations from the team. He will not be pitching the 8th. The Yankees will piece together the final 6 outs out of the bullpen. Speaking of the bullpen, Ned Yost makes the Verizon call to the bullpen, as Jeremy Guthrie's night is over after 7 innings as well. And the call brings in Francisco Bueno. And Brett Gardner swings at the first pitch and a single to center field. That's his 2nd hit of the night. Hyundai scoreboard 4-2 Yanks.
Beltrain going to switch around and bat right-handed here. Still looking for his first hit since coming off the DL.
So with his 0 for 3 tonight, Yankee DH is 0 for their last 24. Popped up, right side, long run, and no one will get there. Hosmer gave it a shot. David, if Beltrain could hit close to the back of his baseball card, what an addition for the Yankees. It lengthens their lineup. He's a switch hitter.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm anxious to see him bat right-handed here against the lefty Bueno. The bone chips or the spurs in his right elbow, so you would think, my guess would be that would be more disruptive batting left-handed. Batting left-handed, that would be your lead arm, which requires more extension. Beltrain, a classic middle of the order switch hitter. Run producer that the Yankees desperately need right now.
The 1-2. Fouled away. So the count 2-2.
So much flexibility now with Beltrain and Teixeira on deck. Both switch hitters in the middle of that Yankee lineup. What Brian Cashman and Joe Girardi had envisioned in the offseason. Getting a healthy Teixeira back and then adding Beltrain to the mix. Both of them have had trouble staying healthy so far this year. But if they both get clicking on the same page at the same time, the whole dynamic changes for this offense.
Ground ball right side. Grabbed there by Infante. Takes a base hit away from Beltrain. Gardner moves to second. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Here's Mark Teixeira now with a runner in scoring position. Teixeira tonight is 1 for 2, scored 2 runs, single, hit by a pitch, and a fly ball to left. Bueno deals. 1-0.
You know, Michael, actually the Yankees with 4 switch hitters in their lineup tonight. When you count Brian Roberts and, of course, Solarte in the mix.
Snap throw to second. Gardner gets back. But if you remember, David, when they won the World Series in 2009, it seemed like everybody in the lineup was a switch hitter. Makes it very tough to match up.
Yeah, the blueprint this year was for speed and power. They've got the speed part down. Brett Gardner and Ellsbury have provided that. It's the power part they need to get going.
1-1. Two-one pitch outside. Royals riding high coming into this series. They took 3 out of 4 against the St. Louis Cardinals, and that's a big rivalry. Now they will intentionally walk Teixeira to put runners on first and second. And that'll bring up Brian McCann. As promised earlier, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to @YesNetwork using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. That's a cute picture at the stadium by Barb T522. And an early start as being part of Yankee Universe. Former Yankee and former Yankee pitching coach Dave Island having a meeting with Bueno on the mound. Well, here's the man who cleared the bases and has given the Yankees the lead, but they had not scored since the third. Bases loaded, and McCann doubled down the left field line to score all 3, and he moved the third on the throw. So a big spot here to give the bullpen some breathing room. One and 0.
It was kind of an unusual sequence there right before McCann's triple. Jeremy Guthrie threw an ephus pitch. Big, slow 58-mile-an-hour curveball. And then backed it up with a fastball up and away, and McCann just drilled it down the left field line.
Coming inside on McCann, 2-0.
Of course, the ephus pitch, was made famous by a pitcher named Rip Sewell back in the 1940s. He threw his down in the 40-mile-an-hour range. Big, high, arcing, slow fastball or slow softball style pitch.
Yankees had a pitcher in the 60s, Steve Hamilton, who threw the folly floater. And there's the ephus-like pitch that David's talking about.
And that was about 58 miles an hour. That was 92. And McCann all over it. Up and away. A lot of people want to know where did the term eephus come from. And legend has it that there's an outfielder on that team, Maurice Van Robes, who gave it the name eephus. And he asked him, what does eephus mean? He says, nothing. That's what that pitch is, a nothing pitch. And of course, there is a Hebrew word, ephus, that means nothing. So a lot of different theories on where the word eephus came from.
The 2-1.
Rip Sewell featured that pitch quite a bit, won 20 games with it, and he only gave up one home run with that eephus pitch back in the 40s, and it was Ted Williams who hit it in the All-Star game.
High pop-up, shallow left. Moustakis makes the play for the second out. That pitch could get so frustrating. Steve Hamilton, who threw the folly floater, actually struck out Tony Horton. And Tony Horton crawled back to the dugout. He was so frustrated by the pitch. And then later on, you remember this player, Dave LaRoche, threw the lob.
Exactly. Got to be a little bit off center mentally to try to feature that pitch in a major league game.
Did you ever try anything like that?
No, I didn't have the guts. I was a little off center. I was a candidate for it, but I never got around to it.
Solarte takes a strike. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. First and second, 2 outs. Yankees trying to tack on. They've had some trouble tacking on all year. Count 1-1.
These are the type of at-bats that make you think that Solarte has staying power. A lot of people talk about, is this guy for real? Can he keep this pace up? And then every time he goes into a little mini slump, they say, oh, here it comes. And then he gets back into it. But he continually gets into good counts. He continually spits on pitches in the dirt. Gets himself in a position to get a good ball to hit. Quality at-bats. That's what makes you think that he's in for the long run.
The 1-1. High fly ball. Drifting toward right center is Kane. And that'll do it. As Bueno works a scoreless 8th. Yankees strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Carlos Beltran's return to the lineup. Plus, Joe answers your questions. It's a new Joe Girardi Show Sunday at 6, only on Yes. Young aspiring catcher in the stands here at Kauffman Stadium. Hyundai scoreboard 4-2. Yankees lead the Royals, and they go to Dellin Betances after Whitley gave them 7 innings of 2-run baseball. Here's the lob, Dave, to Gorman Thomas.
That is up there. Hitters, you just can't wait on it. I mean, your eyes light up. That's a pretty good one right there. That got excellent height on it.
Breaking ball goes outside to Lorenzo Cain. Bottom third of the order against Betances. By now you know his numbers. They get better all the time. 59 strikeouts in 35 innings. Missed away in the count 2-0. The 2-0 pitch. 96-mile-an-hour fastball low. Cain hit into a double play and then doubled to center when the Yankees didn't have anybody covering second. That drove in a run as well. He is trying to unnerve Betances by stepping out. Betances fires a strike on 3-0.
I used to see that in Little League, Michael. The guy would turn around and fake bunt and waggle the bat in front of the plate. And I had a hitter like that when I was 9 years old.
Well, now he's taking his way to a full count. Wow, 99 miles an hour, and Cain fouled it back.
With a big swing as well.
There's his put-away pitch, 99 miles an hour. That had a little tail to it. Take a look at it on Yes Mo, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
Just natural life, Michael, and very impressive. This shows you the maturation of Betances to be able to come back after falling down 3-0. The confidence is growing. Last year when we saw him in the big leagues, or even in his minor league days as a starter, 3-0 turned into a walk in a hurry. Not anymore. Betances makes adjustments on the fly now.
And David, it must be such a pull for Girardi to use him more. And this outing right here is his 26th game that leads the American League. So you almost have to pull back sometimes because he's so effective. You want to use him all the time.
What a tremendous weapon. And that curveball, one of the most effective curveballs in recent memory that I've seen, Michael. I know the numbers back it up. But what an incredible start to the year he is having.
And in the American League, David, he has the best batting average against by opponents, 134.
You can't help but feel this is something historical going on as far as relievers go. And, you know, you think about historical years from a reliever, you think about Mariano Rivera in 1996. The incredible year he had this year. Well, this guy right here, Dellin, is off to a better start than Mariano had in 1996.
The 0-2. Still 0-2. To get a feel for what 134 batting average against means, the next closest is Petrichka from the White Sox at 185. 51 more points. So people aren't doing much against Betances. The 0-2. He's also very honest. He kind of fell out of sync when he walked the batter against the A's, and then Stephen Vogt got a double to tie the game, and he admitted that when he walked the guy, kind of disturbed himself and really had a hard time getting back into sync. The 1-2, swung on and missed. Moustakas down on strikes.
Well, here it is. This is the devastating, whatever you want to call it, a hard curveball, a slider. How about unhittable? That's a good thing to call it. And it has been so far this year for the most part. It almost has gotten to the point where, if he comes in for an inning and he only gets one strikeout, it's a letdown. Unless he strikes out the side or gets 2 strikeouts, that's about what he's averaging. About 15 strikeouts per 9 innings. So it's almost 2 strikeouts per inning you expect from him at this point. And striking out the side, no big deal.
As you said, you expect it. Count 1-0 on Escobar. And there is a base hit. It'll go into the corner. Gardner plays it in. Escobar makes a big turn, and he'll stop at second with a 2-out double.
Well, Escobar starts it early, buys a fastball, gets it down the line. That's what you call cheating and guessing. Good job by Escobar. No sense in looking for that curveball. Might as well just cheat, look for the fastball, and start your swing early.
You know, that's a great point, David. Why look for something you can't hit? If he throws his breaking ball, you really don't have a chance unless he hangs it. He doesn't hang it. Runner at second, 2 outs. Here's Aoki. And there's a breaking ball for a strike. Broken back, ground ball to first. Teixeira steps on the bag, another scoreless inning, and 2 more strikeouts for Dellin Betances. No runs a hit, 1 left. We go to the 9th. Making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet. That's powerful. David Phelps getting the start for the Yankees. He's going up against Danny Duffy. Now, the game's going to be on Fox, okay? But right after the game ends, turn it back to yes for Yankees extra innings. The fountains here at Kauffman Stadium, and David taught me something today before the game, that this city has more fountains than any city in the world other than Rome.
That's right. You got to do something to shake the Cowtown image, right?
Beautiful, beautiful fountains. New pitcher for Kansas City. It's Wilking Rodriguez. This will be his second game.
Actually, the Royals, the name is derived from the big Kansas City Royale, which is it's a big livestock show here forever. You know, it's going back to the Pony Express here. Kansas City, kind of the stopping point as this country moved west to the West Coast.
That one is blooped into left field. Anybody going to get it? No, but it's a foul ball. David, did you ever go to a livestock show as a kid?
Yes,
How
absolutely.
was that?
Horses, and yeah, it was fantastic. Kansas City Royale is a really famous show every year, and certainly here in the Midwest.
Yankees lead the Royals 4-2 here in the top of the ninth.
There you go. Some people thought it was a tribute to the Royals, a tribute to the Kansas City Monarchs.
Right.
From the Negro Leagues, which makes sense, the Monarchs and the Royals. Kansas City Monarchs, just such a rich history here. Satchel Paige pitched here. Negro League Hall of Fame is here in Kansas City, along with the Jazz Hall of Fame.
The 2-1. 3-1 to Ichiro. It's the bottom third of the Yankee order. Ichiro, Roberts, and Ryan. The 3-1. That one is laced into right center field. It's a base hit. Aoki cuts it off, and Ichiro with his first hit of the night. Now 1 for 4.
I actually went to a game when I was a little kid. I barely remember, but when it was the Kansas City A's, when Charlie Finley was here as the owner. Moved the team west to Oakland. 2 years later, the Royals were promised an expansion team, and the Royals were born. Had Lou Piniella, 1969.
Rookie of the year, right?
Rookie of the year for the Royals.
Lou was big here in Kansas City. Even when he was a Yankee, he had a big restaurant down in the Plaza area.
Very popular restaurant, too.
See if the Yankees put anything on with Ichiro at first and Brian Roberts, who handles the bat well at home plate. Rodriguez deals. 1-1.
You know, the American Royale was a livestock show, horse show, and a rodeo. Held annually in Kansas City since 1899, Michael. A lot of history there.
One pitch outside.
Maybe that's what we'll do on our off day tomorrow. I'll find a rodeo here to take you to, Michael.
You know what? I'm in. I am in. Yeehaw.
Go to the Western store, get you the gear.
I'm in. We'll tweet out pictures. Have it on the pregame Sunday.
Cowboy boots.
So Roberts is working to count the 2-2. He has an RBI single in the second, fly ball to left in the fourth. Now back to the pitcher in the seventh.
Ichiro kind of hanging in there. You know, Michael, we both kind of expected him to run here, but I would, even on 3-2 here, I think Girardi will probably send him with nobody out.
He goes, and it's fouled back.
It's a good idea to try to force the issue and steal another run here. The Yankees up by 2 here in the ninth. The only danger, obviously, is a line drive, running yourself out of an inning in this case.
They got him. That's a quick move by Rodriguez, and they get Ichiro. Now you can see Mick Kelleher pointing to Joe Girardi. Take a look at this. I think they got him.
Well, Ichiro didn't think so, but Hosmer does.
Hard to tell. I don't know now. It looks like he got the back of the elbow, but Joe is not challenging. So pick off 1-3.
It's really a whole new dynamic here. I mean, Ichiro didn't want to leave the bag, looking in the dugout for a replay. He actually went up to Hosmer and asked him, "Did you get me?" Hosmer said yes.
So now Roberts replaces Ichiro at first with the walk. So you can see that Joe's pretty upset. I mean, these mistakes on the bases cannot go on.
And there's really no reason there, because that's not a stealing situation. You know, in a 3-2 count with Roberts batting, the base runner has to make sure the pitcher goes home, because it's more of a hit and run style. You're just getting in motion. In case Roberts gets one to the outfield or the gap, you go first to third, or maybe even score on a double. It's not really a stolen base opportunity. It's more of a man in motion situation.
Pitch outside to Ryan.
Another good hit and run situation here with Brendan Ryan batting and Roberts on the base, trying to force the issue here.
Tipped into the glove of Perez. David Robertson is ready in the Yankee bullpen for the bottom of the ninth inning. He saved yesterday's game against the A's.
Royals have so many good young arms. The back end of their bullpen with Holland. As you see the Yankees side here. Matt Daly warming up just in case the Yankees can score some runs here and get a little separation. And of course, Robbie the closer, but another hard thrower right here from the Royals.
Fly ball, center field. 2 outs.
Mentioned the Royals, Holland is their closer, and Wade Davis came over in the Will Myers trade, has been locked down in the 8th. Another power right-handed arm, and this young kid too, 95 miles an hour. Really good-looking young arm.
The Yankees in their draft selected what many people say is the best relief pitcher in college in the draft. Really, it was Jacob Lindgren, and this guy could come quickly. Second round, 55th overall. He was drafted by the Cubs in 2011. Didn't score. He's a left-hander. Look at that, 100 strikeouts and 55 and a third innings pitched. You never know when you see him.
Yeah, there's some guys you get out of college that are a lot closer to the big leagues. Chris Sale in Chicago for the White Sox spent a couple of minutes in the minor leagues, about 10 minor league innings. A-ball to AAA and on up at the end of the year. So he is a reliever. That is his ticket to the big leagues, and he's got a really good wipeout slider. So that's 92, 93 mile an hour fastball and a really good strikeout slider. So that's a guy who could come quick. I
mean, quick as in you could see him in September if they really want to push it. A lefty coming out of the pen?
No doubt about it. Depends on his first impression and how he does. And
Yankees did not have a first-round pick in this draft because they lost that with the Brian McCann signing. So that was their first pick that they had. The 2-0. Ellsbury fouls it away, 2-1. Roberts leads off first. The 2-1. Check swing foul back, 2-2.
Ellsbury continuing to get good swings here, even though he's fouling them straight back. As Michael said earlier, just seems to be on everything during this hot streak.
95 upstairs, so that's going to release Brian Roberts. 3-2 and 2 outs. And as David said before, you're not trying to steal a base here. You're just taking off on 3-2. So he's got to be careful and learn a lesson from Ichiro.
Renzo Cain in center field playing very shallow into the left center side there. So a ball in the right field gap.
Runner goes, swung on and missed. Yankees don't score in the ninth. They take it to the bottom of the ninth. They'll turn it over to David Robertson to try to close it out. Lorenz recaps the key plays. Meredith Morakovitz has the clubhouse reaction. And you'll also hear from Joe Girardi in the manager's report. It's all coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame right here on Yes. All right, so Whitley went 7. Betances with a scoreless 8th, and now they turn it over to the closer, David Robertson, to get the final 3 outs.
"34 strikeouts and 7 walks, and bouncing back from the 2 blown saves. Still 13 out of 50.
Yesterday, the tying run was at third base, and he struck out the final batter of the game to get the save. He also was saved by a nice basketball play, the old 1-3-1 defense, and he has a big bruise on his leg where the ball that was hit by Callaspo was ticketed for center field. That would have been a game-tying hit.
No doubt about it. Especially with Gentry on second at the time, who could fly. But I think you'll trade a bruise for a blown save any day.
All right, he's going to face Infante, Hosmer, and Butler as he tries to protect a 4-2 lead. Infante 0 for 3, all against Whitley. And the fastball is high. The 1-0 shows bunt, takes a strike. Down 1-2. So Larde backs up with 2 strikes, not worried about the bunt. And the 1-2 pitch. Curveball in the dirt, 2-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him. Got him with the fastball. 1 away.
Well, he did, and McCann does a good job of handling the entire pitching staff. And goes right back to the fastball up. Infante swinging right through it. And McCann still giving multiple signals on the pitch calling here with nobody on base. Been very impressed with McCann's pitch calling all year long, the way he handles the pitching staff. And I know a lot of talk about his offensive woes, but you see there, nobody on base, still very careful.
Hosmer fouls it away. 3 infielders on the right side. Well, big contribution behind the plate all season, but today with the bat, drives in 3 bases loaded double, and that's the difference in this game right now. Yankees up 4-2. They scored 3 runs in the third and have not scored since. Robertson trying to nail it down. The 0-1. Now 0-2. 94 miles an hour.
Good life from Robertson. And just in case you were wondering, the reason why Brian McCann would give multiple signs with nobody on bases, in case a third base coach might be peeking or, something might be going on. Just kind of like putting a lock on your bicycle when you walk into the supermarket. You just want to make sure.
The 0-2, swing and a miss. Struck him out on the breaking ball. Royals down to their final out. Here's Billy Butler, 0 for 3 tonight. Foul back, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. A breaking ball strike. Down to their final strike. Count 0-2.
Knee buckling curveball from Robertson. Watch that front knee just buckle from Billy Butler.
The 0-2. Driven the other way. Into the seats foul.
Wasn't that long ago that Billy Butler was good for about 50 doubles a year and maybe 20 homers. Just one home run so far.
The 0-2 and 10 doubles. The count 1-2.
Came into this year as a career .297 hitter with a .362 on-base percentage and a .454 career slugging percentage. Numbers are nowhere near that so far this year. It's hard to figure out because he really is a pure hitter. Billy doubles. Been chasing a lot of pitches this year. Been getting beat by a lot of fastballs as well.
The 1-2. It seems like something that's contagious. A lot of the Royals just not hitting to the back of their card. They've really struggled offensively. We detailed earlier the change in hitting coaches, and nothing has worked. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th inning, Yankees lead by 2. And the pitch. Driven to left field. Going back is Gardner looking. It's off the wall. And Butler is in at second with a double. Now there's the double we were talking about.
Well, this is the old Billy Butler. Robertson trying to go away, pipes it right down the middle. Billy Butler showing bat speed from the past. And that's going to bring up Alex Gordon, probably the Royals' best hitter, with the chance to tie this game, or at least representing the tying run.
Pedro Siriaco is the pinch runner at second base. Pitch inside to Gordon. Finally, the crowd, something to cheer about, 23,418 at Kauffman Stadium. The 1-0. 2-0 to Gordon. Gordon 2 for 3 tonight. Doubled and scored, single, stole a base. Also scored both Royals runs and a fly ball to center. Count 3-0, being very careful with Gordon. You have a guy who's very good with runners in scoring position next, Salvador Perez. They walked him. That wasn't intentional, David, but it certainly seemed it.
Wanted no part of Gordon in that situation, did David Robertson. And certainly against the book, a dangerous situation, because now one swing of the bat can end this game from Salvador Perez.
So 2 quick outs with strikeouts, then a double by Butler. Siriaco pinch runs. Gordon walks on 4 pitches. And now the Royals catcher, Salvador Perez, comes up. One and 0. Solarte hugging the line at third. Good breaking ball, swung on and missed. Solarte cannot let a ball go to his right. He'll give up the single in the hole. That would make it 4-3. Anything past him on the right probably ties the score.
Outfielders all very deep, too.
1-1. Chop to Solarte. He'll go the short way. They get the force, and the Yankees win 4-2. Became a nail-biter down the stretch, but David, that's a nice win for this team. Whitley 7, Betances a scoreless 8th, and Robertson may just sweat a little bit, but nailed down a save, and the Yankees start a long road trip with a win.
Yes, and Brian McCann with a big bases-clearing triple. That was the difference in this game. So all the way around, a lot of positive signs, and Chase Whitley continues to impress and stake his claim in the rotation.
So the guys that have filled in for the guys certainly